only
some
too scared to get
waffles,
some
Rudy.
bacon, too.
Waffles sound good to you.
Yeah,
Cornbread
but everyone else
waffles.
will like
Cornbread
put it in
waffles,
the chili.
Rudy.
Cornbread
Dip the chili.
waffles.
Yes,
Cornbread waffles.
waffles and also waffle cornbread.
Does such a thing exist
Why not?
in real life? I want
If the
that
cats
though,
can't
now.
make it, I mean, who can?
I want it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Cooking with Kwalish. Today I'll be making the cornbread waffles from Critical Role, Campaign 2, Episode 115. It's a special crossover episode. Seriously, using a little teleportation magic and planeswalking, I've crossed over from my reality, full of myths, monsters, dungeons, and dragons, into this reality, full of electric cars, I guess. I'm here because of the wonderful antics of the Mighty Nein and the work of a magician known as Babish. First of all, let's get into a look that's more appropriate. Hey, this is not bad at all. I kind of like it. I might keep it when I go back to my reality. Anyway, we're doing cornbread waffles, so let's start off with a box of cornbread mix. Pretty simple. We're going to pop this thing open, get everything out of the way, and add it into our bowl. Starting off with a regular chicken egg. Plop that in there, get the shells out of the way. And then I'll be adding 1/3 cup of milk. Next, we normal whisk for about 30 seconds. We want to combine everything, but not have it too overworked. Time for the actual waffles. We have our hot waffle iron here, and we'll use a little bit of cooking spray and a nice cone attack here. Everything nice so it won't stick. And I'm pouring in my waffle batter right here into the center. Not adding too much. Listening to that lovely sizzle as it goes. We're going to close this down and wait for the little light to come on and tell us that it's done. You can see I added a little too much. It's leaking out the sides there, but hey, what are you going to do? Checking in on our waffle here. And burning yourself. New electric technology, not quite as used to it. But here we have our wonderful plate provided by our mystical assistant. Pull that out of the waffle iron. And here we go. A cornbread waffle. There's no real arguing with that. So now it's time for the taste test. It's nice and warm, it pulls apart. It honestly feels pretty rubbery in my hand, and tasting it, it's alright. To be honest with you, it's pretty rubbery. The flavor is okay, but not great, and I think we can do a lot better. Caleb's Tower is absolutely magical and can create the best breakfasts in the world, so let's see if we can come close to that type of magic with our very own waffles. Here we have all of our dry ingredients. Originally, Yasha had asked for pancakes, and I think that's the right idea. We can take some of how we would make pancakes and some of how we would make cornbread waffles to come up with something that's just right. Here I'm adding 3/4 cup of regular baking flour, 3/4 cup of stone ground yellow cornmeal. You should probably not do this directly over the bowl so you can get a perfectly level scoop without spilling anything. That's about 1/2 tablespoon of salt into the bowl, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and 1 teaspoon baking soda. We normal whisk these until everything gets to know each other and nice and fluffy. We'll set it aside because it's about to get wet. Into a much smaller bowl, we're going to get everything together. This is 4 tablespoons of melted but not hot unsalted butter. 1 tablespoon of molasses for a little bit of sweetness without getting too sugary. And as a very special treat, we'll be adding in 1 large duck egg. It's going to give us a much more rich flavor and a little bit of complexity that our regular chicken egg just couldn't handle. We'll be normal whisking this together, and it's getting pretty thick. It certainly seems that there's not nearly enough liquid going on. That's because we'll be adding in 1 cup of buttermilk as well. Now, the buttermilk should have gone in at the very beginning, but it's in there now and everything will be fine. We're going to continue to normal whisk this together. We want to make things homogeneous, but we also don't want to beat it too much. We don't want to start to create a strong gluten, because remember, we do have flour in this mix. Overmixing your pancake or waffle batter that has flour in it will give you that chewy, rubbery sensation that you sometimes get. Once all of these have gotten to know each other and are homogeneous, we will let them sit covered with a damp cloth for 10 minutes. While the batter is resting, we want to get some of our other ingredients ready. So here we have a nice block of pecorino. It's a nice hard cheese that's pretty salty, and so it's going to give us some nice flavor. We're grating up a big old bowl full of this. We'll be adding it to the top of our waffles. Very lovely. We'll set that aside in the refrigerator. I've got a pretty nice little bunch of cilantro, and I'm pulling some of them off to keep whole as decoration for our plate. I bunched these up here, and as a nice little trick, I like to roll them up. It's going to help chop them into nice, wonderful, flavorful little bits. Nice rocking motion, and I'm keeping my fingers vertical so that I don't lose them and need a restoration spell. Turn it 90 degrees and continue to chop one more time. A few more healthy chops, pulling out some of the larger pieces and setting everything to the side. And lastly, I'll be cutting up my my scallions, my green onions. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, I'm working only with the greens here, and I'm cutting them on a bias in order to get that nice kind of fancy shape. And now we're back to the star of the show, our batter that has rested for 10 to 15 minutes. There's a little bit of a bubbling action going on. Using my rubber scraper, getting things off of the side and into a nice little beaker. It's got a good spout on there, making it easier to pour into my waffle maker. It's the exact same waffle maker, but I thought this time I'd actually point it at the camera so you could see what was going on. I'm also going to eschew materials and skip the spray and use some actual high-quality unsalted butter. I'm not adding nearly as much batter as I did with our first attempt. I'm pouring directly into the center, pouring pretty slowly, and only filling the maker about halfway full. Then I'm going to go ahead and close it off and wait the 2 to 3 minutes. Your time might vary depending on how hot your waffle iron gets. There we have a beautifully golden brown waffle. The top of it stuck a little bit, but that's alright. Your first waffle or pancake is usually pretty sacrificial, don't worry. I do have an oven that's on its absolute lowest temperature, and that's where it's going to hold my waffles in order to keep them warm without drying them out while I cook the rest. I'm going to repeat this process of buttering the waffle iron, pouring slowly until it's only about halfway full, and then waiting 2 to 3 minutes until I've made a grand total of 7 waffles. That's 3 for me, 3 for Dawn, and 1, well, that just kind of got sacrificed because it was the first one, like we talked about. And here we have it, our plate of cornmeal waffles, ready to go for any adventuring party. And maybe if you're Yasha or not, this is all you need and the entire plate would disappear. But I think we can make this feast truly fit for a hero. To plate this up, I'll be laying down one of our waffles, and then pulling out a little bit of homemade aioli that was done earlier. Aioli is pretty simple, if not a little time consuming. It's made of roasted garlic, a few cloves of raw garlic, olive oil, all mixed and blended in our food processor until emulsified. That's going to take a good 10 minutes. Brushing the aioli onto our waffle. I don't want to use too much of this stuff. The garlic flavor is really strong and we don't want it to overpower everything. Add a little bit of our pecorino that we shredded earlier, sprinkling on a little cilantro and then another waffle, repeating with aioli, pecorino, and cilantro until we have a beautiful stack 3 waffles high. Pretty darn good, but I think we can do even better for you and all of your friends. Let's top this entire stack off with a soft fried duck egg. We fried that in a pan with a little bit of butter and bacon fat. A couple of grinds of black pepper, and I'm not adding any extra salt here. Remember, the pecorino is pretty salty as far as cheeses go. Topping it off with our sliced green onion and some of our cilantro to boot. And here you have it, a hero's feast, first thing in the morning. Good enough for you, the Mighty Nein, or anyone. And of course, we're not going to get out of this without our cross-section. And absolutely wonderful. I love the rich orange color from the duck egg, but the most important thing, how does it taste? Okay, well, I guess gracefully shovel it into my face and, oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I have to admit that this is a great way to start off my day. The cornmeal adds a wonderful texture and tooth to the waffle, as well as a little bit of savoriness, and it's not too sweet, even though we have some of that molasses in there. The aioli has a sharp, smoky garlic flavor that's really noticeable, but not too overpowering, as long as you don't use too much. The pecorino is full of salty umami goodness, and the fact that we've got this thing topped off with a duck egg is just one more wonderful way to step things up. And trust me, off camera, this absolutely made it into the Clean Plate Club.
In real life, I want
If
that.
the cats can't make it, I mean, who can?
I want it.
Don't worry, Marisha, we've got you covered. They absolutely do exist for real. Special thanks to all of our patrons, especially Alicia. If you want to support our channel, head over to our Patreon page and check out the perks of being a patron. Hey everyone, so we just finished dinner after a 4.5 hour filming session. This is clearly our most ambitious episode that we've done so far. I came up with the idea and told it to Dawn, and you were super supportive, but what did you actually think when I said it?
This is a lot.
So yeah, and you know, we just were thinking about what do we want to do, and we were so inspired constantly by the community and the folks at Critical Role, and also just really inspired the more we learn about Andrew Ray's story at Binging with Babish. I think if you watch us, you'll probably definitely know Critical Role.
Yeah. We've made 400 videos.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a big one for us. If you don't know Binging with Babish, if that's not your bag, if you watch us for all of the geeky stuff, go watch it. He seems like a really cool, really wholesome, really awesome guy, and great cook, amateur cook, but a great cook. And yeah. So 400 episodes in the can, and 400 more, and 5 point, I don't know. There's a bunch of you out there that have all made this possible for us to be able to do and bring you a video every week. And so thank you so much. I hope to make more videos for more people. And yeah.
Yeah.
So now we also have to clean all of this.
It's a lot.
Unfortunately. But yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We love you all. And I'm Ryan.
And I'm Dawn.
Until next time, let's roll for initiative. Bye.
Ow.